What's up? Welcome back into another video here on the FanTC YouTube page. This is going to be a FanTC football video, and we're actually kicking off our 45 days of mock drafts. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the channel, familiar with the podcast, obviously the FanTC football pod is done with myself as well as Nick McDonald. I don't know if Nick is aware of it yet, but we are exactly 45 days away from when we would be doing our FanTC draft. We're doing that on August 26th. Today is July 12th. You do the math. We're going to have 45 days. We're going to put out 45 mock drafts, every single day between today and the day that our draft happens. So obviously, if you're not already, make sure you subscribe. There's going to be plenty of content coming out. It's going to be basically fantasy football the rest of the way. I mean, Nick and Eric will probably do some hockey stuff, a little off season, little beginning of the season when it happens. I'll do some golf stuff for the Open Championship, maybe the playoffs if I can find myself interested enough. But basically, once July hits, it's time to get rocking and rolling. We know what it is. It is fantasy football season. So, again, 45 mock drafts in a row. We're going to be picking different spots. We're going to have some different guests. Obviously, Nick's going to be in on a bunch of them. I'm going to get some other friends coming in. Justin, Eric, Tyler, all those guys are all going to be making appearances in here to go ahead and be a part of our 45 days of mock drafts. It's basically like the 25 days of Christmas that Hallmark puts on, except for guys, and a lot more interesting and fun. So let's go ahead and jump in to our first official mock draft. And this one's just going to be me and the computer. And I know some people may say the computer makes stupid picks. I completely understand where you're coming from there. Like I said, we will get more where we have more full lobbies. I'm sure we'll probably do some with up to close to 10 to 12 full people in here. It'll be a big event. But for now, for the very first one, it is just going to be me, myself, and I. So let's jump in here. Let's make sure the settings are all good. So for the first one, we're going to do half PPR. We're going to do half PPR, snake draft, 12 teams. And then for my pick, I'm going to get 5 minutes per pick because the CPU just goes automatically. So I got to be able to have time to update as well as make a pick. I think everything should be saved. And then roster settings, we're doing 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex, 5 bench spots. So an 11-round draft here. That'll also change as we do a couple other ones. We'll do a couple super flex drafts. We'll do a couple 3 wide receiver with 2 flexes. Like there'll be definitely some different things we throw in there. I'm in a couple different keeper situations, so maybe we'll do like an odd keeper league once those kind of start getting finalized and stuff like that. But for the first one, we're going to take the 101. We're going to just do 12. We're just going to go straight back and forth. Nothing really too special with this one here for you. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. So for me, when I'm sitting at the 101, I immediately start looking at Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, or Cooper Kupp. Those are going to be my 3 guys that I am considering at that pick based on just what I feel like, honestly. I mean, Jamar Chase, I think, is going to have a great year. I don't think he's worthy of the first overall pick in redraft. Same thing with Austin Eckler. He may repeat again as a great year. I don't think he's worthy of the number 1 overall pick. So I'm going to ride this one out. I'm actually going to go a little bit against the grain because I want to see what my team looks like if I add him and potentially wait to stack his quarterback later. And we're going to go a little bit in the past, little time machine action, and go with Cooper Kupp with our 101. Obviously, I know that's not going to be very liked. Obviously, everyone's going to be thinking Justin Jefferson's the clear 101. I totally get it, but Cooper Kupp was the number 1 in points per game last year for all the games that he did play. So I have a lot of faith in Cooper Kupp being able to manifest another really good season. All right, so we're coming back on the clock here with our second round pick. I would say the first round is pretty standard. Only thing I think is a little interesting is he not been taken? Why can I not find him? Garrett Wilson as Downs. Tyreek Hill. There he is, Garrett Wilson. I was like, there's no way Garrett Wilson didn't get taken. There we go. All right. So 3 quarterbacks already off the board. That's probably not happening in most redrafts, but if there is going to be 3 that are reached on, it's those 3. So we did have a lot of talent pushed down the board to us. Now, There's two guys here that I'm super high on at the running back position, so we're 100% snagging one of those guys, and that's between Tony Pollard and Ramondre Stevenson. I like Brees Hall. Obviously, Pollard also has an injury he's coming off of. I just think that there's a lot of Dalvin Cook rumors around the Jets still, and I don't really have that worry with Dallas. You do have that worry in New England a little bit, but I just think that's such a dumb pick for them to go spend money on a running back when you have Ramondre Stevenson. So I'm going to take Tony Pollard. He is the guy that I want in that situation. So I'm not too upset with that. I love stacking Pollard and Cup. I think they're both really high end options. Both can finish as the number one overall at their position if given the workload and they stay healthy. So now where I'm at here, Brees Hall, I don't necessarily mind if you want to go to running back. Stevenson, I don't really mind as well. But I'm going to go a little bit, not against the grain, but just a little bit lower here. And I'm going to snag a guy that I really like in Chris Olave. I've noticed through a few of these drafts when I'm drafting at the 101 or the first position, when I get into like 5, 6, there's usually a decent amount of um, well, 5, 6, and 7. There's usually some running backs that I feel pretty comfortable with taking in that situation. So I'm not too afraid of going a little wide receiver heavy to start it out. So yeah, I mean, even right here, just because I know, well, I guess I have two picks, so let's take a second here. Let's go through these, actually. The content will also get better. I'll get into the flow of it. It's a little difficult when you don't have time to really talk about the picks that are going. A little running back run. Andrews goes off middle of the third, right where he should. I mean, if I'm in the middle of the third, Andrews is my target every time. Devontae T, Najee, DK, Jameer, Amari, Keenan, Burrow, Debo, Lamar. I'm going Lamar over Burrow every single time, so I think that's a very, very risky proposition. Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, Ridley, Hopkins, Mixon at the 4.08 could look like an absolute steal. Kittle and Hawkinson going back to back, Pierce, and then I am back on the clock. So, with where I'm at right now, I love Cup and Olave. I feel like I have two really good wide receiver ones. I have Pollard, who I think could be the number one running back. Now, J.K. Dobbins is interesting, but the one guy I like a lot more than J.K. Dobbins coming into a new team, I know he's got a little bit of, not as much hype this year just due to the fact that, he's going to a worse offense with a worse offensive line. But Miles Sanders is going to be given so much volume this season that I think he is absolutely just one of those guys you have to draft if you are on one of these turns or in the middle of a draft. You need a running back. Like, I'm taking him above Pierce. I think he's probably the only one I'm taking it over who's gotten drafted. So I don't think he necessarily fell, but that's what I mean. Like, at this turn, I don't mind going two wide receivers early because I just feel like running back value is just down overall and they just fall a decent amount. So now what I'm looking at, I mean, this is again a just seamlessly easy pick for me. In my opinion, I think Terry McLaurin has a ceiling. I wouldn't say a ceiling none of these other guys have because they definitely have had a high ceiling or could potentially have a high ceiling if things go in their favor. But McLaurin has proven year in and year out, even with an iffy quarterback situation, he's just that good of a receiver. He's going to be valuable for fantasy. DJ Moore, new situation. We'll see what he looks like. Drake London, bad quarterback situation. Watson is risky. He looked good, but a weird quarterback situation. Jerry Judy's another guy that I am interested in, but just at this situation here, I like Terry McLaurin a lot more. So we're going to ride with Terry. I love the start of this draft so far. I have three guys who I can comfortably play at the wide receiver position, two guys at the running. Like, my roster as we're building it out, like, I'm absolutely in love with this so far. All right. Chris Godwin, Jerry Judy, a little wide receiver run, followed by Fields, Dobbins, Herbert, DJ Moore, Drake London, Madison off the board. Wow, Madison before Akers and Connor. So that is where I will have to kind of look into more of these rough or mock drafts because the first few that I've done, I've gotten actually Cam Akers or James Conner to fall to the 6-7 turn. So it looks like their value may be just going up a little bit more, and we're not going to be able to wait on those guys. I was hoping to get either one of those two at this turn. You know what? I don't really know what his situation is now that it's just a misdemeanor. I mean, the issue is there's video, so there's probably going to be some kind of suspension. I just don't think it's going to be a full 6 games anymore for Alvin. You have Goddard. You have Waller. I think Goddard would be the really only tight end I'm that interested in. Oh, I just saw this is an easy pick for me now. I didn't realize Traylon Burks was still on the board. There's no chance he gets back to me on the 8-9 turn. I think Traylon Burks again. It's another year two wide receiver that I think can just have a huge breakout season as the number one on their team. I'm going to take that all day. And since I do have two back to back picks, and really, I mean Alvin Kamara is trying to jump out at me a little bit at running back, but mm, all right, we are actually going to do it. We're going to go ahead and snag up Alvin. We'll see what his suspension is. Obviously, that's it makes these mock drafts a little bit more difficult because we don't necessarily know what his suspension is going to be. He also wasn't very good last year, just in general. So it is kind of difficult when you're drafting Alvin Kamara. I think in the seventh round. I mean, even if he was just the running back he was last year, he's providing value on that. All right. And Goddard goes next. Yeah, Goddard was the guy that was in consideration for me. Montgomery, Evans, Johnson, White, Dotson. So now we're getting into, you can see here, just in the seventh and eighth rounds, we are already getting to the guys where it's kind of call your shot on these guys. Richardson's still going above Watson. I think it's a little crazy, but got to shoot for that upside. See, this is how you're drafting against AI. Jonathan Taylor, one, two, three, four, five, six wide receivers. What the hell are you doing with six wide receivers? Like, you can play four at a maximum. So that's one of the, I would say, downsides to going against the computer. But I'm going to take another guy here that I think has some pretty good upside in the new offense this year, and that's going to be Brandon Cooks. Speed kills until you no longer have that speed, and I don't think he necessarily lost that much speed last year. I think he was just over the whole Houston situation, which any good player in that situation probably would be. So I love going to go ahead and snack him up now. Let's see. Quarterback is still empty. It's basically Tua or bust at this position. I don't necessarily love drafting Tua. If I'm being completely honest, if I go back in the draft, we went that way. So in here, I could have potentially have gotten Dak, Richardson, or Watson. Don't hate it. Like me, like if I have this team, just with the players I have, I'm so ecstatic about the players that I'm not really that worried about having what could be perceived as a lower level quarterback into a. I mean, I have to basically draft his backup if I see like a Kyler Murray out there in the later rounds or something like that, just due to him being a little bit more on the injuries prone side, and we'll see if the stuff he's doing this offseason makes him less injury prone. But once you're injury prone, you're kind of just injury prone. So I don't really know how I feel about him. Yep, at this point, we lost Okonkwo. Okonkwo would have been the tight end that we wanted at this turn. So at this point now, we're really just kind of punting on tight end to our last two picks. Um, let's see her. We're going to shoot this up real quick so I can see a little bit more. Let's see. Got to call some shots here. You got to know 20ish guys aren't going to be coming back to you. Don't need a quarterback. I don't know why I'm looking there. Elijah McKinnon, wide receiver from Lazard, Myers, Thielen. See, like this group of wide receivers, like Lazard, Beckham, Myers, Thielen, Boyd, Mooney, even a little bit, just like, bleh. I would rather wait to the next round and hope a Sky Moore or Rasheed Rice fall to me, and just hope that they find like someone pops in this Chiefs offense. In the running back room, we have Pollard, Sanders, Kamara. I'm gonna do it. I don't love doing it, but we're gonna go ahead and just take no, because I'm probably gonna grab a Chiefs wide receiver later. I don't want to be a Chiefs homer in these mock drafts. Tight end, Cole Kmet, Greg Dulcich. I mean, I got two picks, which is what's tough. We're gonna go Elijah Mitchell just for the CMC injury factor, and then just because we need a tight end, we're gonna go ahead and just grab Greg Dulcich. I don't love that. I don't love leaving the draft with Greg Dulcich, but let's be honest. If we don't go Dulcich there, we're stuck with a Komet, Higby, Everett situation, which is basically going to be you're immediately streaming tight end if one of those two guys have a bad week in week one. And I just don't want to have to be in that situation. I think Dulcich still has somewhat of a ceiling that he could potentially reach. So as we see, Sky Moore got absolutely ripped away from us. That would have been my target here at this point. But since he got taken, so we are currently at what kind of build are we at? One, two, four running backs and one, two, three, four, five wide receivers. So this is a guy who's been getting a lot of hype out of Packers camp, like a decent amount of hype and he was valuable last year with Aaron Rodgers from time to time. Granted, they do not have Jaden Reed. They have Christian Watson. But Romeo Dobbs, he just cannot keep his name out of the news in Green Bay. It's another one of those year two wide receivers that I just feel like may have the opportunity to break out. And we're going to go ahead and take him for sure. And then at this point here, just because, I'm currently stuck with Tua, who I think could be a good quarterback, but I don't know if I absolutely love him. I'm going to go ahead and just snag up Kyler Murray because we are still a month and a half away, almost 2 months away from the NFL starting, so that there's a chance Kyler plays week one. I now have Kyler and Tua that I can balance between. I don't necessarily love building that draft or building my draft that way, just simply because I think that if they both are playing and they're both good, you're not going to want to drop either, and it just immediately creates a roster clog. But if we're looking at it from a roster perspective, Cup, Olave, McLaurin, Burks, Cooks, and Dobbs from the wide receiver room, Pollard, Sander, Kamara, and Mitchell in the running back room. So the running back room is a little light. We'd have to definitely look at the waiver and try and bolster up that room. Dulcich is our tight end, and then both Tua and Kyler Murray in the quarterback room. One thing I really don't like about this is guy drafted Josh Allen and then also Russell Wilson. That's not happening in the majority of drafts. Watson, Rogers could happen, but they're both relatively the same level. I think that's a terrible draft strategy. Justin Fields, Bryce Young, I don't mind that one, but if you're already drafting Fields, like Bryce Young is most likely not going to pop in his rookie season to the point you're going to play him over a guy like Fields. Love Team 5, just Jalen Hurts and build around him. They actually went, let's see, they have Hurts and Andrews and Okonkwo. Fuck this guy. And then they have Jamal Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler, wide receiver room or running back room. And then their wide receiver room is a little scary. Zay Jones, Sky Moore, Odell Beckham, Juju, Deontay, and Marquise Brown. So that's definitely where their weakest spot is, but we know how volatile wide receivers can be in fantasy. So I kind of actually like Team 5's build. Team 6, there's no way I'm drafting Herbert and Goff in the same draft. Team 7 did it correctly. If you want to take the shot on Richardson, grab yourself a Geno later to play while Richardson develops, maybe for a couple weeks. Lawrence and then Daniel Jones, stupid. Mahomes and then Cousins, dumb. Like, you're never going to threaten starting Cousins over Mahomes. L-Jack as their only quarterback. Prescott and Love I don't mind because Prescott's your starter and then Love's on the bench in case he breaks out. And then I love the one quarterback. Quarterbacks are always the ones that odds are in most drafts you're not having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21 quarterbacks taken. I mean, that's almost every team taking two, which is kind of ridiculous. That's not going to happen in the majority of leagues. But that is going to wrap up day one of the 45 days of mock drafts. They're probably going to be between 15 to 20 minutes when it's just myself because it's just me talking. We'll probably obviously have some longer videos once we get Nick in here and obviously some other guys mock drafting with us as well. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with friends, family, enemies. We do not care. It's just time to get this baby growing. So I appreciate it. All love from the FanTC crew. Peace out, everybody.